Good
Yes,
afternoon, Shivansh.
good afternoon, sir.
Shivansh, what do you want to ask or what guidance you want?
Sir, I want to know the key areas which I should not leave, the very primary questions which I should know. Because there are many questions that can be asked from current affairs, but some basic question I should know regarding my DAF. So, what are the broad themes I should cover?
Shivansh, you are electrical engineer from Roorkee. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
And you have also worked in Standard Chartered Bank for some time,
Yes, sir.
right? So, current affairs means if I put it like that, one is keeping your technical background in view. You must know about artificial intelligence, machine learning, how it's going to impact, there's a major question of regulating AI.
Yes.
You know, the society is facing a major challenge in the form of how to regulate AI because AI can be misused as well as AI can be used.
Yes.
And another difficulty is that this all, whatever is in cyber world, has no jurisdiction today.
Yes.
I can sit in America and I can operate something in India, and I can sit in India, I can do something in UK without any time lag. So
Yes.
jurisdiction is becoming a problem. So there has to be a harmonious effort on the part of the nations
Yes.
to bring in a kind of regulation by which the AI can be regulated. Now, you must read, I think European Union has already brought in a piece of legislation which they are going to implement it, I think 24 and 25. I don't remember correctly. So they have adopted a risk-based approach for regulating AI. So there are different methods. America is working on something else. Now India has also come out. India has offered that we will prepare a draft. So that you must read. And coming
Okay,
to
sir.
current affairs, India's relation with neighbors, that is extremely important. Whether it is Pakistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Maldives, these are very, very important. Then our relationship with China, Russia, as well as US, Canada, UK, these are major countries.
Okay, sir.
And now our relationship with Australia is also taking much more dynamic shape than what it was earlier.
Yes, sir.
So all that you need to read. World affairs, a lot of things are happening, and your interview is when?
Sir, it is on 14th March.
14th March. So you have around 3 weeks.
Yes, sir.
So many things will happen in world affairs. So you got to read it. Which newspaper do you read?
Sir, I read the Hindu and Live Mint and the explained page of Indian Express.
Yeah, I think that's more than enough. If you read it, make some small notes, bullet points, so that you know what is happening in Red Sea, which are the actors there, whether it is Houthis, what they are doing, by whom they are supported. Then U.S. Navy, UK Navy, then Indian naval ships are also there. Of course, we are not acting along with the UK and US. We are acting separately, but we are also playing a role there. All you should know,
Yes,
and
sir.
how it is impacting the Indian economy, how it is impacting the world economy.
Yes.
So that is the area. Then similarly, many things in this year. There are so many elections in different countries.
Yes, sir.
In our neighborhood, Bangladesh had elections. Pakistan is going to have elections. We are going to have elections.
Yes, sir.
And Russia is going to have election. Many countries, they call it an election year. 2024 is the election year.
Yes, sir.
So, which is going to have impact on the world affairs or at this thing. So, you have to read, and these three newspapers you are reading, that is more than enough. Just prepare some brief notes.
Yes, sir. As and when I come across some informative article, I try to make digital notes out of it.
Yeah, that will be good. That will be good. But still, if some area remains uncovered because it is not possible to,
Yes, sir.
cover everything. And what has happened in the last 3, 4 months also, you have a look. Don't ignore that because there could be questions from that also.
Yes, sir.
So, but if still some area is left and you are asked a question, the best way is, if you don't know, best way is to say, sorry, I don't know, or I am not read on this. That's the best answer.
Yes, sir.
And I would like to add something.
This is your first interview for MALUKA, is it?
Sorry, ma'am, can you please pardon? I was unable to hear.
Is this your very first attempt, first interview at the very first attempt?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. That's the process. You have to keep your confidence up. And have you done some mocks before?
Yes, ma'am, I have given around 8 mocks till now.
And in person as well?
Yes, 4 in person and 4 online.
What advice has been given?
Ma'am, I was told that my articulation was fine. The sitting posture and everything was fine. I was given some pointers regarding to prepare some of the questions which I was unable to answer regarding current affairs, and especially some questions from DAF. There were some areas which I was underprepared with respect to my graduation subject. So I was told to prepare them in more detail as compared to current affairs.
Yeah, absolutely. So your main questions will come from your DAF only and current affairs. And domestic situation, something on the constitution could be asked, election bonds recently in the news, elections coming in India, something, all what is going to happen or currently happening will also be there, even on the budget. So you have to have some basic information about all these things. And as Sir said, neighborhood, of course, and what is happening around the world. If you have to keep yourself absolutely informed. And your DAF is your basic thing. What are your, hobbies? They can ask you on that as well. You've done it from Roorkee. Roorkee ke baare mein they can ask you something. You can be asked something about Roorkee. Anthropology, your subject. So you have to have your basics in place. And anthropology can be connected to, many other social issues as well. So you have to keep yourself, the basics you must be aware of. And as Sir said, if you don't know, you can say, I am not aware, or I can't recall, or I don't. Right.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, so I had a question that should I prepare Roorkee as a district as well, because I'm already preparing my home district and my place of birth and my residence. So apart from that,
I studied there, so you need to know what are the main things in and around Roorkee. A little bit at least. There could be also, how did it start? When did it start? Some basic information can be asked. When did it become an IIT? It was a Roorkee Engineering College earlier, regional engineering. So it became IIT. When did it become IIT, etc.? So that kind of, and then another question could be why, so many IITs have proliferated now. So has it taken away from the main 6, or they still retain their primacy? These kind of questions also you should be prepared for.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, one more question, ma'am, with regard to elections in other countries around the world, what kind of questions or dimensions can be touched upon?
How will they impact? The main ones, how will they impact our relationship with them? India's relationship, isn't it? That's our basic interest. Now, supposing next door, for instance, even Pakistan, we don't know what's happening there, but supposing it's an unstable government or an anti-India government again, it's going to impact our policies. Maldives, we have seen what has happened, Maldives elections. Right?
Yes.
So all this, you need to be aware of that. So in how many countries is it happening? Another question that could be asked is, how is the American system different from the Indian system of elections? Their presidential form. So there have been also in the past, issues and discussions on whether the presidential form should also be introduced in India.
Yes.
And what are the pros and cons? So would it be a good idea? Would it be doable in India? Similar, or an adapted form of the presidential form of system. Presidential form of governance. So you can see these basic things you would need to keep in mind. And where are they happening, and how in the major countries that it's going to happen, how will it impact bilateral relationship with them?
Okay.
Anything else? What are your hobbies? I've just forgotten.
Is a competitive programming, watching psychological thrillers. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so something on that.
So, competitive programming, since you are a electrical engineer, there could be a question, there is now a real danger whether AI could make the work of programmers redundant.
Yes, sir.
And there could be loss of jobs in that area. So you should have an answer for that. Because
Yes.
personally, I feel when a new technology comes, initially we feel that it will impact job, but at the end of it, it creates different kind of jobs.
Yes,
It
sir.
might
And
extinguish some particular kind of jobs, but it brings a lot of more jobs,
yes,
maybe in different areas.
yes, sir. And it actually elevates the standard of living as well. It enhances the productivity of the existing labor.
Yes, yes. So
I will prepare some data regarding it as well. I've been reading some
yeah,
data in LifeMint. I will prepare the same.
and psychological thriller, if you have seen one or two, they might ask you to describe the thriller, the impact it had on you, or so
Why I like to watch this kind of
yes,
movies.
yes. So that could be.
Yes, sir.
So
So,
what
sir,
if
I should prepare, I think, around 3, 4 movies, if at all they ask me to describe any 2 or 3 of them.
The latest one which you have seen, one or two or three, you should know about them. Who are
Okay.
the characters? What impact does it have?
Yes.
So maybe not more than that.
Okay, sir.
And also psychological issues facing young children, quota, suicides, IIT suicides, so all that could be also because psychology kind of mentioned here, people would talk about mental health also.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
and it's a current thing which is happening. And what if you were posted there? What would you do to counter this? So those kind of questions could be there also. If you're posted at the border, how would you tackle border issues? This you are faced with some kind of a situation where the border trade is affected, things like that. So any hypothetical questions could also be there. So you can just think about these and say, if I was a DM, what would I do? Or a collector, or wherever you're posted, how would you handle the situation, right? Including now, if farmers' agitation that is going on here. Supposing you were posted there, what would you do? How would you handle it? We don't know what the situation will be by 14th of March. You said no.
Yes, ma'am.
4th March or 14th March.
14th March.
Maybe it is resolved by then. Maybe it is not resolved. So they could ask you in a hypothetical situation, that position, and say, how would you resolve it? So you have to be very clear about the issues at hand for any current affairs, any problems that are ongoing, and how and your thoughts about it. So think about that. Just one advice also in general, when you are asked a question, you can take a second to just put your thoughts together and then respond. Don't have to rush to respond. Right?
Okay, ma'am. Oh, ma'am, can I ask for time for like 4-5 seconds in multiple questions? If at all, I think I can structure my answer better. If at all, I'm given some time.
When you need it, don't keep doing it repeatedly. But you can say, may I just take a minute to get my, may I just take a few seconds? They will say, all right, but ask for permission before you do that.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So you can do, but don't keep doing it for every question, and that will
Yes,
be a
ma'am.
But you can just hesitate. I mean, you can think for a moment in any case. When a question is asked, just think for a moment and then go ahead. But if you're going to take a longer pause, then ask for permission.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I had one more question that what kind of basic statistical data should I know regarding UP or my districts, which I have mentioned in my DAF?
Basics means what? GDP, literacy, growth, manufacturer, what are the tourist spots? All this data you should know.
Especially the UP has this, one district, one
product.
One product, one district, one product.
Yes.
There could be question on that and how it has helped this scheme in economic growth and in bringing, the upskilling of various industries which are there, especially some of the districts which have kind of cottage industry, whether it is Firozabad or it's Muradabad, they're basically cottage industries. They're not big industries, whether it's brass making or glass making, all those things. So how it has helped, you should know about that. And what is the economic and social indices of UP? And regarding Roorkee, let me tell you, because Roorkee is in Uttarakhand, so there could be question on, the impact of development on the climate. Because especially you had the tunnel collapse and, there is a lot of road development which is going on. So there is a view that it is detrimental to the fragile nature of Himalayas. and it may ultimately lead to more negatives than positives.
Yes, sir.
So there are some write-ups on that you can know about. It's better to know about that.
So I can prepare a bit on like this Silkyar tunnel issue and Joshimat sinking,
Yeah. Yes.
and related to the development versus environmental conservation debate.
Then UP is a big state, so there is a demand that UP should again be divided in Bundelkhand and Purvanchal. So whether the demand is justified, so you have to give your opinion. But whatever is your opinion should be supported by logical arguments.
Yes.
If you say that it should continue to be a unit, means UP should not be divided, and you should have reasons with you why it should not be divided. But if you support that UP should be divided, then you should be logically able to support that what will be the benefit of dividing.
Sir, I had one more question. If at all I'm asked to analyze one particular question or give my opinion on some issue, like one nation, one election, for example. So, sir, should I state both the pros and cons and then take my stand, or should I take my stand initially and then give points supporting that stand?
No, you can give that if we go for one nation, one election, these are the difficulties, or these are the challenges. We will have to amend the constitution. We will have to make provisions. So you can give both sides. There is no harm. And then whatever side you justify, you say, I'm of the opinion, or I think that this will be a better alternative because of 1, 2, 3 reasons. But you have to be very brief. See, personality test, you have a short time. You cannot be very elaborate on each question.
Yes,
So
sir.
you
Because
have
of
to
that's
give
what.
a very, very precise answer.
Yes, so because that's what happened. I started telling about the pros of one nation election. I was cut short in between. I did not get a chance to get to the cons.
Yes. So that is important. You have to be precise.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 cons, 3 pros. You can't give all details.
And if I'm asked particularly that what is my opinion, or do I favor or am I against, then I can go particularly for in favor or in against arguments as per my personal opinion, and then give arguments in support of that.
But the argument should be logical.
Yes, sir.
You are a science student, so you understand.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, ma'am, that would be all from my side. Ma'am, I have one last question regarding my optional. In how much depth should I cover it? Like,
what is your option? Anthropology. No, the basic concept you must know. The basic concept you must know, and second thing, those concepts, how they will be applied in day-to-day life, how they can be especially applied in administration, how your knowledge will be useful. So you could be asked some practical questions. So anthropology is not my subject, so I will not be able to guide you. Maybe I don't know about Madam.
Not my subject either, but anthropology is linked to the general social conditions and that have evolved, the patriarchal mindset and how it contributes to general society. Those and social norms. So those aspects you need to understand and be aware of. Plus, even anthropology's relation to international interaction. Where they have also, I was reading somewhere that it is connected also to, the discriminatory and apartheid practices that were put in place, the anthropological roots of that, and of the migrations that take place. So some of those aspects, interrelated aspects to current day issues and challenges. Just you can read that, but the basics of anthropology you have to be aware. And also, there was this something recently saying that the anthropology, what has been found in different places, anthropological remains, etc. Anthropological, these geological remains and how they are telling you about where mankind started, etc. Where the first human started. So those aspects maybe also you could look at.
Okay, ma'am.
And recently somebody had also asked a question about how in Orissa, for instance, we found some, there's a dinosaur park, egg park or something like that. So those, which give you an anthropological insight into the development of humankind or man or even living beings.
Okay.
Not too much knowledge. Nobody's going to ask you any in-depth question, but basics, basic principles, basic application.
Or if anything has happened recently regarding my subject, then I should know about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, ma'am, that would be all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just practice and keep in touch with what is happening with current affairs. Read the editorial so that your mind is able to focus on the background as well of everything. And all the very best to you.
Thank you, ma'am.